Hey everyone, Joey here, and I want to talk more about Bayonetta 3. Now that it's been some time since the gameplay reveal trailer from the last Nintendo Direct, I can safely say that I'm still hyped for this game. It looks cool, epic, and just a ton of fun. I even made a video about the 5 things that the trailer didn't tell you. For that though, I basically stuck with information that was confirmed, like the locations, enemies, and new demon powers. I didn't go into any speculating or theorizing about the story, because frankly, the trailer didn't tell us much about that. However, there's a theory that's been circling the internet that sounds wild enough to be true. That being that this version of Bayonetta might not actually be the Bayonetta we know. Still Bayonetta, but also different. Confused yet? I'll explain, but I won't be able to do that without spoiling the first game, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click away. In the first game, Bayonetta comes across a child named Cereza, who is later revealed to be a young Bayonetta. She was taken from the past by the villain Baldur in order to help Bayonetta regain her lost memories, and in the end, she is sent back to her time, with no consequence to the timeline, right? Well, maybe not. Baldur might have pulled a Barry Allen and messed up the timeline completely. At least, young Bayonetta's timeline. Essentially, this theory states that the Bayonetta we play as in 3 is actually child Bayonetta from the first game, all grown up. But isn't a grown-up version of child Bayonetta just Bayonetta? Yes, however, the difference is that this Bayonetta grew up in a separate timeline. No doubt, being a victim of timeline kidnapping is bound to change your path. So if this theory is true, that means this version of Bayonetta is one from a separate timeline. And there's more evidence to prove this. The most obvious one is her new hairstyle, which is strikingly similar to that of young Bayonetta's. Wow, I knew they looked the same, but my mind was blown when I saw them side by side. Thanks to Anibal Fernandez on Twitter for providing us with this image. Her glasses are somewhat similar as well, sporting bigger frames than her original ones. The next clue of this being a different Bayonetta is the shadow shown in the trailer. This was pointed out by Reflection13 on Twitter, who stated that this is not Madama Butterfly, which is the demon usually shown in Bayonetta's shadow. We even see this new demon later in a shot where she morphs into it. I incorrectly stated that this was Madama Butterfly in the previous video, because it kind of looks like her. The wing design is similar, but the body and head are more insect-like than humanoid. This might suggest further that this is a different Bayonetta. There's also the case of Bayonetta's new voice actor, who might be Jennifer Hale, but I'm not going to put money on that. Maybe this is to help imply that this is indeed a different variation of the character. Even then, her voice actor remains unchanged in the Japanese version, so this might throw a wrench in that theory. Unless they decided during English localization to change the voice actor in order to help differentiate the two Bayonettas, especially if they're both going to be in that game. Remember the reveal trailer from 20 years ago? Bayonetta looked exactly the same as she did in the first game, but more importantly, she appears to have died at the end, which might suggest that the Bayonetta we know is dead, and this new Bayonetta has to revive her or avenge her. Not gonna lie, that would be a pretty awesome story. The final clue that just might cement the theory though, is this mystery character shown off at the very end. And no, it's not Virgil. Or is it? No, it's not Virgil. Unless... Look, what matters is what's hanging on his sword's handle. And that, my friends, is the doll owned by young Bayonetta. This and her new look confirms that young Bayonetta is at least going to play a big part in this third installment. How big a part? We're going to have to find out closer to the game's launch in 2022. Another fun tidbit is that this Bayonetta has a beauty mark on her face, while young Bayonetta in the first game does not. This is not a coincidence, as this info comes from Susie Hunter on Twitter, where she posted a video from the behind-the-scenes DVD on Bayonetta 1. Here, Hideki Kamiya mentions that adult Bayonetta has a beauty mark, while the young Bayonetta does not. He said the only explanation is that doing a certain something makes a beauty mark appear on her face. He never said what this is, but it looks like we'll know what in Bayonetta 3. Kamiya, you planned this all along, didn't you? Now unblock me on Twitter. So what do you think of this theory? Do you believe that Bayonetta 3's protagonist is from another timeline? Sound off in the comments below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics that you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.